Well, hello everyone, and welcome to our 2018 Epcot International Food and Wine Festival Media Preview. If you all can take your seats for me, we'll begin right now. My name is Brandon Peters. I'm the Walt Disney World Ambassador and your host for this morning. And we're very excited. We have many treats literally in store for you, as I'm sure you know. And we also have many speakers who are excited to talk about the many new offerings and the exciting things happening at our festival this year. So I think we should just get started. What do you think? Awesome. We have some wonderful people. I want to introduce a food and beverage executive who has been leading the festivals for the past 12 festivals here at Epcot. He is the general manager of Epcot Festivals and will be giving you a wonderful overview of all we have to offer here this year. Please join me in welcoming Dave Kesting.
New Brunswick Slider, Skywalker Vineyards, Pancake Milkshake, Central 28 Wath Ale, and our butternut squash ravioli with the brown vinegar vinaigrette are just a few examples of the 95 new offerings for your taste buds to explore on our 75 days of the Epcot International Food and Wine Festival. We have several new marketplace experiences for our guests to enjoy as well, including Disney Family of Wines, Shimmering Sips Mimosa Bar, and an all-new Taste Track. Along with these new experiences and food and beverage offerings, guests of all ages will enjoy experiencing our new family-friendly activities, including a candy sushi making activity, Fun Zone, Junior Chef Experience, Disney Du Jour Dance Party. Our candy sushi experience, presented by Skittles and Adventures by Disney, will be a hands-on dessert activity happening twice a day at 3:30 and 5:30 in the Land Pavilion. We've never had a Fun Zone for kids to burn off some energy at Food and Wine, so we put one next to our Taste Track Marketplace. A little insider tip, this is where you also find some incredible new croissant donut offerings as well. Our Junior Chef experience, presented by Crispies, allows our young, experienced chefs to mix it up and decorate their own pancakes on select Sundays in our festival center. The Disney Du Jour Dance Party combines a rockin' DJ and rotating menu of Disney characters. This will take place on Friday and Saturday evenings from 5:30 through 8:30. You may even see Remy and Emile make a rare appearance on one of these nights. All of these family-friendly offerings are included in your park admission. And don't worry, Remy's Ratatouille Hide and Squeak scavenger hunt is returning. This has become a festival favorite family tradition. Folks, that was only the first course. We have 9 new Eat to the Beat performing artists, including Mercy Me, Glass Tiger, Torrin Wells, Vertical Horizon, Sheila E., Jim Belushi and the Sacred Hearts, Anderson East, 98 Degrees, and High Valley. So, most of you are familiar with our table service Eat to the Beat dining packages, right? This combines a great table service experience here at Epcot with a guaranteed seat for one of our concerts. For the first time ever, we will be offering a limited availability quick service Eat to the Beat dining package. The package will be offered day of only on the first come first served basis at our Liberty Inn location. This package will include a non-alcoholic beverage, entree, dessert, and a reserved seat for that night's concert, all for $29.99 plus tax. Please remember, if you want to guarantee a seat before you arrive at Epcot for one of our performances, our table service dining package allows you to secure that in advance. We even turned up the heat for our Party for the Senses, bringing in the Femmes Rock Electric Violin Quartet for all 5 events. If you've never seen Femmes Rock, you are truly missing out. Of course, we will have great food and talented chefs from Walt Disney World, around the country, around the world, ensuring that this is a spectacular party to delight all of your senses. Some of our new festival visiting celebrity chefs Personalities include John Rivers, Richard Blaze, Tiffany Thiessen, just to name a few. Guests can join us for a conversation with celebrity chefs and more at the all-new Sunday Brunch with the Chef. They can also learn from our pros at our food and beverage pairing sessions, where chefs and beverage professionals will share tips and tastes of featured pairings. Please don't forget to reference your food and wine passport and Epcot Times Guide. This will help you explore all that Epcot has to offer. I am certainly proud of all of our new offerings and returning favorites, and truly appreciate your time today. Please enjoy the rest of our preview of the 23rd Annual Epcot International Food and Wine Festival. I would like to welcome back our Walt Disney World Ambassador, Brandon Peters.
Okay. I'm excited about candy sushi. Those two things are really innovative to me. I love this. We have a wonderful, wonderful things in store for you today. As you know, the International Food and Wine Festival is not just limited to our wonderful offerings from the grape. We have many wonderful beers in store for our guests here, all throughout the festival. And here to tell you a little bit more about that is our local beer expert, Nikki Cassoni, certified Cicerone.
Hello everyone, my name is Nikki. I am a certified Cicerone, and just so you know what that means is it's the same in the wine program as a sommelier. So I went through a lot of testing and I got a certificate, and it says that I know a lot about beer. So I'm going to talk to you today about a couple of the beverage offerings that are brand new this year that everybody's really excited about. I'm highlighting beers from the Light Lab today. So a little bit about some of the process that goes into picking out the beers for the festival. So if you've been around or you look through your passport, you'll see there's a lot of different beverage offerings. A lot of these beers are made exclusively for the Epcot International Food and Wine Festival. That means you'll only be able to get those here and on draft at the different locations throughout the park. The RGB flight, which is the one that is being passed around right now, is all three of those beers are unique for the festival. So you won't be able to go anywhere else and get those ever again. So right now you may find some of them in the brewery tap rooms that made them just as they test them out. But other than that, you won't be able to go anywhere and find these beers. So I'm very excited that this year all of these beers are from 3 different breweries, and all those breweries are here in Florida. So one of the things that Disney does is they support local small businesses, and this is a big deal for those businesses. One of the breweries presented today, Grasslands, I was talking to them, and he said this is literally a dream come true for him. He was here at the festival 5 years ago with his wife before he started the brewery, and they had walked by one of the locations, and he said, could you imagine if we ever got to the point where we had beer here? And when we told him that he was going to have a beer here this year and asked for his participation and partnership, it was a very big moment for them. So it's one of the many ways that we partner with these breweries, and it's very exciting for them. All 3 of these beers are less than 5 years old. So the breweries are less than 5 years old. So the first beer that you're going to get to try is the red beer. That is going to be from Playa Linda, which is in Titusville, Florida. So if you're unfamiliar, that's on our Space Coast. From their brewery, you can actually see the launch pad for the rocket launches right now. So they're they take a lot of pride in their partnerships. They have a lot of NASA folks come in and have beers there after work. So they are very community involved. Playa Linda has a head brewer. His name is Ron Rake. He is kind of the godfather of craft beer in Florida. So he was with a couple of local breweries. If you were around when the airport had the Shipyard Brewery many years ago, he actually started brewing there. He went to a couple of local brew pubs, and then he was able to partner with some folks in Titusville, and they started a brewery out there. They have the Bricks Project and the Hardware Store, which are their 2 locations. They both serve food, lots of different beers. And when we went to him with our needs for a red beer, he sampled the team on something that was a little different. And we love different. So this beer is actually brewed with cherries, and it's brewed with sorghum. So there actually is no barley in this beer. If you didn't know, all beer is made with some type of a malt, a water, hops, and yeast. And then anything else is an adjunct that's added into the beer. So adjuncts aren't necessarily bad things, but here you have the cherry juice. Now, that makes this a gluten-friendly beer. So barley is where the gluten in beer comes from. This is brewed with the sorghum, and that is a gluten-free product. So this would be a gluten-friendly option. Now, it may taste a little bit different to you than what a traditional beer would taste like, but I compare that to if you use different ingredients in different products, you do get different tastes. So this is going to have, instead of that barley taste to it, you're going to get the blast of that sorghum and then the nice tart cherry. The second beer is the G in our GB, and that is a green kiwi beer from Grasslands Brewing. Grasslands is in Tallahassee. They're a few years old. They brewed this beer it was a surprise. I didn't know how they were going to get green beer without using food color. So this is brewed with kiwi puree. They used about 50 pounds of kiwi puree in just their first batch. So that's about 20-ish kegs or so. So there's a lot of kiwi. Now, you are not going to taste a ton of the kiwi. It gives it more of an essence because kiwi is actually a very light tasting fruit. So this has some American hops in it that kind of bite into that kiwi taste a little bit, so it's not overly sweet or sour. And the green color, kiwi actually doesn't put off a ton of green color when you mix it with the beer. The green color comes from spirulina, a type of seaweed dust. So that's how it's an all-natural ingredient and not using any food color. The last beer is your blue beer. Now, this is kind of a treat. We brew these beers, we have the breweries brew these beers, and beer is a living thing. It takes time to make it. This beer we pulled about a week and a half before it was finished. So the first beer that you have is a finished product. The second beer that you have is a finished product. But the MIA out of Miami is not a finished product. So this beer you can see is a little undercarbonated. You can see it doesn't have as much bubbles, and you can see that it's still a little hazy. This beer is brewed with blueberries, and that blueberry taste will start to increase as it continues to ferment, and it will start to have more bubbles and more carbonation, and it will clear up. Today in the brewery, that's actually what they're doing right now as we're having this chat. So they're still finishing up this beer. They'll keg it off, and we'll go pick it up and bring it back here before the festival starts. But we wanted to show you what the flight looked like all together. So I said, listen, I think it would be cool to be able to see what happens before beer is beer. So before the bubbles are in the beer, this is what you have as a slightly hazier, less carbonated product. Those are the beers that are going to be in the Light Lab for RGB. I think that it's a very fun project. I was very excited to help work on this one with the festival team. And afterwards, if you guys have specific questions about the breweries, the brewing process, or the ingredients, I'll be available for questions. I'm going to turn it back over to Brandon.
Our next speaker today, in 2009, launched the Four Rivers Smokehouse, which quickly became one of the fastest growing restaurants in the Southeast. Now has over 14 locations in Florida and Georgia, and it continued to inspire the second concept, the Southern-inspired coupe, which also has garnered national attention. You may have recently seen our announcement of the addition of the Four Rivers Cantina Barbacoa food truck joining us at Disney Springs. Here to tell you a little bit more about all of that and the wonderful demonstrations at our festival center, please join me in welcoming founder and CEO of Four Rivers Smokehouse, Mr. John Rivers.
Wow, thank you so much for having me here today. I have to say, I grew up in Florida, up in Jacksonville, and when Disney opened back in '71, it was such a big deal. I still have well, God bless him, he passed away, but I used to see my crazy Uncle Dickie, who lived down in Miami, and every single time, because of course we live in Orlando, he'd always tell us a story. He came up the first weekend of opening, and he would tell the story of how he came up Highway 95, and according to him, traffic was backed up all the way down I-4, all the way to Daytona that opening weekend. And you knew it was going to be something special back then. Now, in the Food and Wine Festival in particular, I'm ecstatic to be a part of this year, and I'm so grateful for the invitation to do so, and thankful for that. I have to say, it took me a while to get into the Food and Wine Festival. It happened a few years ago. We take some of our foster kids to Disney every year, every summer, and we were there, and it was a hot day. You know, you with a bunch of little kids, you get pretty worn out quickly. And we were leaving. It was about 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and my oldest son said, "Dad, let's go over and check out." You know, we had the day passes for everywhere. I said, "Let's go check out the Food and Wine Festival. You've never been." I said, "All right, absolutely." And I'm tired. And I never forget, you know, all day long at, you know, Disney and you know, the little kids parks and stuff, walk into Epcot, and I'm walking by the big ball, and there was this group coming out, and clearly they had been doing all the flights and tasting all the wines all day, and they're singing, and I look at Jerry, I like this festival. This is going to be fun. Well, we're delighted this year in particular that the timing couldn't be better for the demonstration that we're doing. Coincides with our newest concept that we're excited to launch exclusively right here in Disney Springs, as a matter of fact. We just unveiled it a couple weeks ago. It is our Four Rivers Barbacoa and Cantina. And it is a food truck that they came and they asked me, they said, "We'd love to do something at Disney Springs." I said, "Well, I'd love to do something at Disney Springs as well, but it can't be barbecue." Because obviously our friend James has a wonderful spot there already at Disney Springs. They said, "Can you come up with some type of variation from it?" So I said, "Give me a month or so and I'll build a brand." And we did a bunch of research, and the Barbacoa menu, Barbacoa actually was the original name of barbecue. And that's where I found the tie to it. And it mixes the traditional barbecue flavors of all of our smoked brisket, pulled pork, chicken, everything is there as the foundation. But it layers on top of that a number of flavors that I found from a tremendous amount of research in a very short amount of time. We went down to Mexico City, we spent time in Puerto Rico, we went all over the place and built different flavor profiles from traditional Mexican flavors. And it was great fun. Matter of fact, one of the top chefs at Disney accompanied me down to Mexico City, and Chef Eddie, which I was so grateful for. One, he speaks the language, and I didn't. And two, you know, when you travel with one of the executive chefs from Disney on a food trip, you know, you were in for a treat. And he would go and enter, you know, once they found out he was from Disney, we would have more food come about, and he would try to explain to them who I was. And for some reason, this one restaurant, they interpreted what he said as saying, I was the CEO of the Atlanta Braves. And I'm looking at him, he's like, "Go with it, Johnny, it's okay." So we had anything we wanted, as you can imagine. Well, today I brought one of our top items that we're excited to roll out. Tiffany, do you have it? You guys will be the first to see it. This is my interpretation of a taco bowl. We're calling it the taco cone. Isn't that pretty? It's right next to as big as my head. Fell for that for marketing. They didn't quite go for it. But this is a lot of fun. And in all of the dishes, we made it super simple. You can actually come and you pick your protein first. We have a beef barbacoa, which is made with our beef brisket. We have a pork sofrito, which we got from a grandma named Nana, literally. And I had to track her down. I had to go to her house because she didn't have a recipe written down. And God bless her and her 21 members of her family. We made sofrito one night, and I had to tape and write everything down. And it is fantastic, absolutely fantastic. We have a chicken tinga, and then we have a tri-tip steak. So you pick your protein, and then you can put it on top of a bowl with black beans and rice. You can put it into a taco cone here. We actually have nachos, burritos, anything you want. And we're having a lot of fun with it. So it launches right at Disney Springs across from Ghirardelli's, next to the World Showcase there, or the big facility where they have all the merchandise, and on the 21st. So a week and just a few days from here. And I know there's going to be a media day for that too, and I certainly hope you come and enjoy it. And I'm very much looking forward to feeding each and every one of you. Thank you again for having me here today. This is a great treat.
As Tiffany walked by, I could just smell the barbacoa in that cone. It was amazing. We were also very excited. John will be joining us to give some wonderful demonstrations at our festival center as well throughout the festival this year. And it's just an amazing example of how we continue to grow the Epcot International Food and Wine Festival. At this time, we would like to invite you to continue enjoying the treats that we have for you here. We'll open up our adjacent conference room. All of our speakers that you heard here today, as well as the festival teams representing entertainment, food and beverage, merchandise, and more, will be available for further interviews. We also have an interactive food experience right here in the lobby alongside some additional surprises for you. Thank you so much for being here, and we look forward to seeing you at the festival this year. Have a great morning.